Remote interactions with healthcare professionals. Imagine that you are a doctor in your office, and you have already seen many patients today and still have more work and research to complete. From this perspective, how should an interaction between a healthcare professional and a customer-facing representative be conducted in the 21st century? We live in a world where more people are connected than ever before. 54% of the world's population is online, and as of 2019, approximately 20 billion devices are connected to the Internet. Why should we engage with healthcare professionals, or HCPs, digitally? Advancements in technology have allowed us to stay connected and engage with others virtually anywhere, anytime, and without the need to be in the same physical location. This plays an important role in how we can engage with healthcare professionals, as they are already online and using the Internet to search for information, use various apps or services for continued education, connect with their peers, and monitor the health of their patients. Telemedicine has grown exponentially around the world. By 2020, it is estimated that 25% of the world will be using some form of virtual health. Note, 64% of people point to convenience and access as important benefits of virtual health. Healthcare professionals are already engaging with each other and their patients remotely. Thus, we can and should also engage with them remotely. Why remote customer engagement? Our customers are more connected than ever, and engaging them remotely at a time and place that works with their busy schedule is critical. We must make sure that we continue to have good access in a changing environment of customer engagement preference. What is the value of remote customer engagement? Some benefits of remote customer engagement with the healthcare professionals include engaging at convenient times and places, providing additional points of contact, sharing relevant, approved information in an easy-to-absorb and engaging format, and connecting and following up on agreed actions during previous calls. Why is remote customer engagement important for our company? As a company, we need to engage healthcare professionals in an effective way across multiple channels of communication, including remotely. Our Vevva technology enables us to schedule and execute remote interactions with our customers, allowing us to share approved content even if we are not in the same room with our customers. We do this by using tools such as Vevva Co-Browse, Vevva Engage, email, telephone, SMS, and more, depending on the available Vevva functions. You can also engage with healthcare professionals who operate in settings with limited access, such as no-see hospitals and clinics, limited office hours, or when it is not possible to be physically present in the same room with the customer. These tools are designed to address the healthcare professional's preferred engagement channels and complements your face-to-face or F2F interactions. Which should we use, face-to-face or remote customer engagement? The traditional face-to-face model is the most mature channel and allows for rich engagement. Remote customer engagement is designed to enhance your face-to-face interactions with healthcare professionals. Remote engagement can help you leverage and strengthen your existing customer relationships, as well as build new ones. So, the answer is to use both face-to-face and remote customer engagement. How are interactions with healthcare professionals evolving? A traditional office call is an example of a two-way interaction with a healthcare professional, while an approved email can be seen as a one-way digital interaction. Engaging with customers using Co-Browse or Vevva Engage are two-way interactions that allow for rich discussions through face-to-face interactions with the convenience and flexibility of a remote interaction. What are the benefits of conducting remote customer engagement? There are several benefits to conducting remote customer engagement. Firstly, by increasing access for customers with established relationships but have limited time, customers that prefer remote interactions, and multiple HCPs across the world at the same time. Secondly, by providing more opportunities to connect, engage, and interact through additional touchpoints besides traditional in-person interactions, broaden contacts, reaching more customers, improving the total office call, customers who are willing to try something new, and engaging new customers who only prefer a remote engagement. And lastly, by solving for logistical challenges such as large sale geographies, inclement weather, customers who can only meet with you outside of normal business hours, or customers who are hard to reach in an office or those without one. Be sure to align with your customer in order to discover their preferences for digital communication channels. What are some of the skills needed for a successful remote customer engagement experience when using Co-Browse or Vevva Engage? Engaging customers successfully when using Co-Browse or Vevva Engage requires us to finesse our communication skills. As we have seen earlier, engaging customers remotely using Co-Browse or Vevva Engage enables a two-way customer interaction. This means that you will be using the same principles of customer-focused interactions in order to plan, implement, and evaluate the call. How do we communicate? When communicating with others, it is not just what we say, but how we say it, and how we look when we say it. What we communicate is made up of three elements: visual, facial expressions; vocal, how we say the words; and verbal, what we say. Mehrabian's communication model has shown that 55% of a message is communicated through facial expressions and other body language. Only a mere 7% of what is communicated is done through spoken words themselves. And the remaining 38% is paralinguistic, the way the words are said. When communicating, the vocal tone and body language influence the actual message. The nonverbal elements, visual and vocal, support one another. In other words, what someone says will be more powerful and convincing because of their gestures and their inflection. Here is an example showcasing the power of nonverbal communication. Cheryl sighed. She had just received an email from her customer Harry, saying that he was not interested in moving forward with the project proposal. It did not make any sense. A week ago, she had spoken with Harry, and they had verbally agreed, although he had not made much eye contact and he kept looking away. If Cheryl had known a little bit more about body language, she would have realized that Harry was trying to tell her that he was not sold on her idea. He just wasn't showcasing it through words. When using Vevva Engage, you have all three elements: visual, verbal, and vocal, to convey meaningful information to your customers. When using Co-Browse, you will only have the vocal and verbal elements. You will need to compensate through your voice for the loss of the visual element. You need to clearly articulate your words, show enthusiasm for the information shared, ask clear questions, and confirm understanding of what is being discussed and agreed upon. How can you be successful in a remote customer interaction to build engagement? In order to successfully engage customers using remote interactions, you need to carefully prepare with the following procedures. Plan the call in detail and have a clear behavior-changing objective. At the beginning of the call, communicate to your customer the purpose of the call. For example, to get a healthcare professional's perspective on data relevant to the specific patient population. Choose the right place and eliminate distractions that will allow you to focus on the discussion. Have an expert knowledge of the content you will share and the system that you will be using, for example, CoBrowse or Vevva Engage. Be prepared to walk the customer through the steps of connecting by familiarizing yourself with the customer's perspective. And practice with a colleague or your manager prior to conducting your remote customer interaction. How do you successfully prepare your customer for this remote interaction? Clearly communicate to your customer what to expect and how to access the meeting, along with any other relevant technical information. In addition, you can send a reminder a day before your scheduled appointment so that your customer is prepared for your remote interaction. How do you successfully prepare yourself for this remote interaction? First, have a clear goal in mind by setting a clear behavior-changing objective. Similar to in-person interactions, you should carefully plan what information you expect to share and in what sequence, as this will help you achieve a behavior-changing objective. You want to be certain that the content shared is relevant to your customer and that you are proactively prepared to answer any questions that the customer may ask. Secondly, build confidence with the content and the technology used. To create a positive experience for yourself and the healthcare professional, be confident in the technology that you will use during your remote customer interaction, whether this is CoBrowse or Vevva Engage, and have an expert knowledge of the content and flow of the information that you will share. What are some of the best practices you should consider for a successful remote customer interaction? In order to prepare for your remote customer interaction, you should consider the logistical, technical, and communication aspects that will help you have a successful call with your customer. Logistical. Choose a quiet place without distractions such as noise from people coming in and out or traffic. Ensure that you have reliable internet access. Join the session at least 15 minutes prior to the start of the session. Test for technical issues, including sound coming from your microphone. Use earphones or a headset to minimize background noise. And have pen and paper available for taking notes, because the keyboard may create distracting noises. Technical. Before the customer joins and after joining the session, check that the Vevva tool that you are using, CoBrowse or Vevva Engage, works as expected. Confirm that your customer can hear you. If using Vevva Engage, confirm that they can also see you. And confirm that your customer can see the content once you start to share. Communication. Clarify how the information is relevant to the customer. Speak at a slower pace than during a face-to-face interaction. And articulate your message clearly. Remember, if you are using CoBrowse, you are losing the visual element, facial expressions, of communication. Your voice will become extremely important in communicating with your customer, as tone, articulation, and word emphasis are your main tools. Check in regularly after each point is shared with your customer in order to ensure that your customer is still following you. For instance, "Doctor, how does this information look to you? Could you please confirm that you can still see what I am sharing on my screen?" Orient your customer on where to look on screen as you share information: the upper right corner, the bottom left, the center, etc. "Doctor, please see at the top right corner of the screen efficacy data for products A, B, and C." Similar to an in-person interaction, ask questions. Do not just share information. "Doctor, could you please share with me your thoughts on—" Request feedback on information discussed. "Doctor, could you please share with me how this information will influence your current use of products A, B, and C?" Smile and be energetic. Even if the customer cannot see you, the smile and energy in your voice can be perceived by them. And lastly, stand while engaging with the customer remotely in order to help increase the energy in your voice. When closing a call, whether using CoBrowse or Vevva Engage, remember to get feedback on the remote interaction and ask to set up the next appointment, either in person or remotely. These should be done in addition to your standard call to action in a sales call, following the customer-focused interactions model. Here you will summarize actions that were agreed on. Agree on a clear call to action and any follow-up actions. What are the advantages of using Vevva Engage to enhance your remote customer interaction? If using Vevva Engage, you have the opportunity to use your camera so the customer can see you. Where you conduct the interaction and your appearance will influence the customer experience. Sit in a quiet place with a clean background, without people, pets, or other distractions coming in or out of the camera's view. Position the camera to show yourself clearly. Maintain eye contact by looking directly into the camera, and do not move too much. Stay calm and focused. Avoid playing with your hands. What does a good remote interaction look like? Now that you've learned the importance of remote customer interactions, let's take a look at two examples of remote interactions. Hello, Dr. Smith. Thank you for joining the call. Hello, Doctor. Thanks for joining the call. As agreed on our previous call, today we're going to talk about. It is clear that John is creating a positive customer experience by following the best practices when conducting a remote customer engagement. Remember, in order to be successful in your remote customer engagements, you need to be prepared and follow the best practices. Do you want to become an expert in remote customer engagement? You need to practice. With your colleagues, you should practice remote customer engagement skills using CoBrowse or Vevva Engage by taking turns as a representative, healthcare professional, and an observer. You should keep in mind the following key elements of remote customer engagement. Set up the CoBrowse or Vevva Engage session. Send the invitation to your customer. Send a reminder. Start the session. Start interacting with your customer following the best practices suggested earlier and using the approved messages. Remember to observe the logistical, technical, and communication best practices. And debrief on the strengths, best practices, difficulties, and areas for improvement. Remember, just like half of the world population, you and your HCPs are online and ready to connect. With Vevva's remote engagement capabilities, it is easier than ever to engage with healthcare professionals in meaningful discussions, strengthening your business relationships, and establishing yourself as a trusted partner. If you do not already have your customers' permission to engage them remotely, ask them during your next interaction for digital consent and set up a follow-up appointment using either Vevva Engage or co-browse.